We got us a little show here, don't we? All right, so first things first, I just wanted to come on live here. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging because we had already blasted that the show was live and everything. So real quick, let me change the banners so y'all don't freak out real quick. Let me see here. And then we'll get on with the show here. And the funny thing, I got a Smackdown banner graphic. I just don't know where it is right now. So let me put up something else here. Hang on, guys. Let's see. I want the... Is it this one? No, not that one. Let me see here. Where is that background? Let's see. I think I found it. Okay, so let's turn this one off. And then we want to turn that one off. So hang on. Monday night. Where's the Monday night one? Let's turn that off. There we go. So we got it. So yeah, normally my Smackdown logo would be right there, but okay. All right. We're good to go on that note. Just take another swig here. All right. If I got anything in between my teeth, I apologize in advance. I have not had dinner yet, so I was snacking on a Fig Newton. And I'm still wearing my freaking Invisalign trays. I should be in my retainers by now. I should have been in my retainers a month ago. But because of this pandemic that's going on, my freaking dental office, they are only open 3 days a week, and it's for emergencies only. So, and it's not even the usual office I go to. So I can't tell you how frustrated I am that I still got buttons and I still got to wear my trays. How I wish I was in my retainers already, but hopefully I'll be in my retainers a little bit sooner than later. So you guys that wear Invisalign trays, y'all know that they usually encourage you to eat with them on. I usually like taking them off. So if I got a little something in between my teeth, just, and you actually notice it, let me know, and I'll see if I can maybe get rid of it real quick. But I think I got it all out the way. All right, let's do this. We got us a nice show. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, guys? You're checking out a special Friday night edition of the RCWR Show, dropping Friday night of April 24th, 2020. Lee Sanders here. Told you guys we were going to be coming on as soon as Smackdown went off, and for very good reason, because this Friday night marked officially the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the career of the game, the cerebral assassin, the king of kings, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, Paul Levesque. And I wouldn't have missed this for nothing. I gotta tell you, I was feeling a little bit tired when I came in the house, and I just, but turned the TV on, and what kept me going was just the Triple H highlights, the little key milestone moments we were seeing throughout his career. I have my own fond memories that I'd like to share. Some of them were shown on TV tonight, but I can definitely elaborate a little bit more on some of those moments and everything. Again, my personal list, we'd be here all night if we just went over just, because originally I was going to do a 25 countdown basically of some of my favorite moments, but then the more and more I thought about it, I said, God damn, that'd be like a 2-hour plus show. Now we're pretty much good with that. We don't need to do all that, but I gotta tell you, going into this, I was more so looking forward to celebrating Triple H 25 years. And with regards to the episode of Smackdown itself, it wasn't really... I gotta be honest, I missed probably the first 30 minutes because I got off work and it was like a race to get home. Luckily, I didn't have to travel that far, because I'm only about 15, almost 20 minutes away from work. So by the time I got out, Mrs. picked me up, pretty much dart home. We were talking for a little bit, as always. We have a little bit of side chatter once we get in front of the house and everything, park in front of the house. So we're chatting for a hot minute. Then we get inside the house and everything. Yeah, I probably did not start watching SmackDown until the 45-minute mark of the first hour. So there was a lot I had missed. I did go back, take a few notes of what all had transpired, even though I did not see what all had came about. But pretty much from the 45-minute on, first hour on, I'm pretty much there, so I can definitely comment. So we'll talk a little bit about SmackDown, talk about some Triple H moments. I got just a couple of little snippets of little headlines that went down since last I was on the air with you guys, which at this point, we last did a show Wednesday night, if I'm not mistaken. We were talking about AEW, NXT, and some more headlines and everything. So this is definitely going to be a short show. I actually have to turn right back around tomorrow and go back to work. And I like getting in at least 10, 11 hours of sleep because physically I get so drained. I'm so exhausted by the time I'm done with work and everything. And plus, I'd like to actually spend a little bit of quality time with the missus. I actually have not had the time to spend some time with her today because she mainly was supervising. We got some painting that's being done in the house. We got some contractors that's working in our house for the next couple of days, touching up some stuff on the inside. And they're actually going to be touching up on some stuff outside. And I got an update for the dog, by the way. You guys know I was giving you guys some updates on the Monday and Wednesday show. So a little bit later on, I'll give you guys an update on that, let you know how puppy's doing and everything. I shouldn't call her a puppy, but yeah, I found out she's 77 years old, but she still looks like a sweetheart. She still looks like a puppy to me. But anyway, all right, so SmackDown tonight looks like things had kicked off here with the new SmackDown Tag Champions, the New Day, kicking off the show. And just a quick sidebar, because I really didn't get an opportunity to comment on this on the other shows this week, but if you were to ask me for my thoughts on New Day being the tag champions once again, I just don't understand it right now. I just don't, especially given what's going on with this pandemic and everything, and fans are obviously not allowed to be in attendance at some of these or all of these WWE events, and not even in Florida. I just am scratching my head kind of wondering, why does New Day have the tag belts this go round? What's up with Miz and Morrison? And I wish I knew the answer to that. I wish, I don't know if you guys have been asking yourselves that, but for me, as many times as New Day has been the tag champions, pass the bottle around. Let another person take a swig or two. Let them have it for a little bit. You got more than enough. I kind of think of the DMX song, "You've been eating long enough now, stop being greedy. Just keep it real, partner, give to the needy," right? So your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Nothing personal against the New Day. Nothing personal against the New Day. But Miz and Morrison, my God. I don't even think Miz and Morrison made it 3 months with those titles. Yeah, because WrestleMania was in April. Yeah, didn't they win the tag titles? Damn. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, ain't it? They didn't even make it that long. I don't even think they had 2 months as the champs, and they've already lost the titles. I don't know if maybe that was a move from SmackDown executives, or not SmackDown executives, but Fox executives is what I was trying to say. I'm not sure if maybe that was a move that they pushed for because they felt that it would equal more ratings or what. But in either case, SmackDown kicking off with New Day. Kofi Kingston excited that Big E had got the job done, winning the tag titles. Big E pretty excited to have the tag titles back. And they pretty much were putting themselves over, talking about how they have more reigns now than the Hearts. Who else did they mention? They mentioned the Hearts, Demolition, Edge, and Christian. So they're now with an elite group there and everything. So they're putting themselves over. Lucha House Party came out to congratulate them, but also laid claim to wanting a title shot against them. Miz and Morrison popped up next. They aren't happy that New Day got those tag titles. We also saw the Forgotten Sons. Yeah, the Forgotten Sons, they had arrived, so you kind of get the gist of everything that's going on here. So ultimately, you had a brawl, and the Sons, I wish I could say Sons of Anarchy, but no, the Forgotten Sons, they laid out New Day, as everybody else is just laying there, dazed and confused, wondering what the hell. So looks like all of these tag teams are going to be colliding at some point. Oh, okay. Hey. Right. Okay. Hey. Whatever it is. It's whatever it is. I still feel the way that I do about the Forgotten Sons. If you guys remember the show from, I want to say 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the Forgotten Sons. I still feel the same way that I do about the Forgotten Sons. I see nothing in the other two guys, but I see my man Riker. I already did the whole backstory on him and everything, so go back, check out the previous show. Know how I feel about him and everything. For him, you know, I really want him to succeed on the roster. I do, but this tag team, I tell you, sometimes I wonder how, if an arena was filled with a crowd, how the crowd would react to certain individuals. And I can't help but wonder how a SmackDown crowd would react to the Forgotten Sons. I can almost just picture crickets right now. I'm telling you what, I can almost picture it. Because, and see, the gauge that I have to go on right now, right before they popped up on SmackDown and everything, I do remember seeing them a bit when they were on NXT, and the reactions towards them was pretty mild. Put it to you this way, if you were to have some type of a fan participation gauge meter that goes from 0 to 100, if you were lucky, maybe it would hit about 20, maybe 30 for the Forgotten Sons. So if it was like that in NXT, where it was pretty much mild to almost little reactions, I can only imagine how it would be now that they're on the main roster. I can only imagine how the crowd, if they were allowed to be at these Florida shows or wherever else WWE is going to be going in a hot minute, I can only imagine how the crowds would be reacting to them. Very frustrating, and hindsight's 2020, but it makes me appreciate even more what Sanity was able to do in NXT. You want to talk about a stable, a tag team, whatever you want to call it, that really did not truly get the full rocket ship behind them, and okay, it's lit, let's see where you guys can go. Definitely Sanity, as far as I'm concerned. King Corbin was in action. He defeated Drew Gulak. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. It really doesn't. This makes no... And remember, this was a Money in the Bank qualifying matchup. King Corbin taking on Drew Gulak. Daniel Bryan, he was at ringside. Can't really get any further into this matchup because sadly I did not see this one, but this match went about almost 10 minutes according to the official bell time here. But King Corbin defeating Drew Gulak to advance. Now see, here's where I'm a little bit confused right now. So we could not have, and look, granted, you did have Nakazawa and Cesaro. They were at ringside, and they did do a gang up on Daniel Bryan. That pretty much had helped Corbin pretty much ultimately get the W. I get all that, but somebody explain to me this. This is where consistency really comes into play here. So if leading up to WrestleMania, Elias gets the living shit kicked out of him by King Corbin, right to the point where they're fighting on that high-rise structure, Corbin pushes Elias off, and okay, Elias should be freaking paralyzed. He should be out for many weeks, maybe a couple of months. But instead, miraculously, this guy is somehow able to go into WrestleMania not selling an injury worth a damn, and gets the W over King Corbin. And yet, last week, King Corbin catches up to Elias, beats the living crap out of him, and now all of a sudden, Elias is off TV. I'm just trying to understand the consistency here. It doesn't make any sense. You guys got to forgive me. I'm just a little bit of a stickler for detail, but I really feel that you should have had Elias out here to balance the odds out, to basically give King Corbin that receipt so that these two guys, okay, so they are obviously continuing their feud. Don't have to worry about no King of the Ring qualifying matches, none of that jazz. They're just continuing to go at it. Very weird what was going on here. WWE, they also have put the spotlight on Rob Gronkowski. I'm not going to get too much into football tonight. I'm definitely going to be getting into football this weekend. I believe me and the missus are going to be doing a wrestling with the topics. I think it's just I know we got a good chunk of stuff that we can talk about. It's just a matter of figuring out what time, if any, we're going to sit down and do it. But we're definitely going to be talking more about Gronk. We're going to talk about the NFL draft, loads more. I did watch the NFL draft. Sadly, I missed tonight. I think tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think tonight was round 2 and 3 of the NFL draft. I meant to set my DVR, but I sadly did it because usually I just care about the first round. I'm sure most people care about the first round as well. But I actually, since it's sports related, I actually wanted to watch rounds 2 and 3 under the circumstances because there's really nothing else going on right now sports wise. But in case you missed it, Rob Gronkowski, he's going back to the NFL. Now I will, just a little bit, if you want to pick my brain a little bit. So he's going back to the NFL, only he's not going back to the Patriots. Bill Belichick, he decided, you know what? I really do not need Rob Gronkowski. Gronkowski has already put out there, the only person I'm interested in playing with and for is Tom Brady. If it's not Tom Brady, I'm not interested. So rather than Bill Belichick try to take Gronkowski, trade him to a team, and Rob pretty much is going to go, nah, you know what, I'm good, I retire. Here's Bill Belichick. Okay, you want to go play with Tom? The only person you're willing to play for is Tom? Okay, well, you're kind of getting up there in age anyway. He's really not, but, when you just think about it in football years, 5 years can sound like 15 or 20 years, depending on the position and everything. Bill Belichick decides, you know what, I'm good. So he's already rolling the dice, letting Brady, go ahead, bye. Now, Rob Gronkowski, well, there's the door, bye. So Gronkowski now reunited with Brady in Tampa Bay. What was once dubbed the Succaneers, now it really looks as though this could be a team that is going to be a serious contender for the Super Bowl. The Vegas odds for the Buccaneers right now, I mean, it is freaking through the roof, man. It's freaking crazy. So, of course, while you got all of this going on, you also got to remember that Gronkowski still has the 24/7 title. So, I mean, it's interesting what's going on right now with Gronkowski and everything. But, yeah, him going back to the NFL, I'm stunned. I got to tell you, I'm stunned. I thought for sure that given what was going on with him in this new phase that he's in as a entertainer and everything that he was doing behind the scenes at Fox, I thought he was doing pretty good. I know I caught him this past season, NFL, the NFL, Fox NFL, what they call it? You got the NFL Today on CBS, I guess Fox, NFL Sunday, whatever hell that little show is that comes on at noon. You guys know the show I'm talking about with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, and them. He was doing pretty good when they were going to him, quick little sidebar and everything. A little bit wet behind the ears, but as the weeks progress, he came around pretty damn quick. So It sucks to see him go. I would like to believe, though, that when he is officially done playing football for good, that he will be back with Fox in some capacity, and rightfully so. But interesting position. So he's back in the NFL and he still has the 24/7 title. I think things are going to be pretty damn fun him being in Tampa. I got to tell you, because we all know how Belichick likes to operate the Patriots way, and he's about that no nonsense. Yet at the same time, there's something about Gronk in which Belichick gave him a little bit of leadway there, if you guys kind of notice. I mean, not to the extent of the rope that Gronkowski has had up to this point, but Belichick's kind of, I guess his mindset was, okay, well, as long as it doesn't interfere with training and the games on Sundays, I don't care. But still within reason, it kind of seemed as though Belichick had a bit of a hold on Gronk. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do in Tampa under Bruce Arians, because Bruce is freaking one of those guys that, no, I don't want to set that up right now. Bruce is a players coach type of guy. You know, he's all about the players. He's always about having fun, you know, being serious when you need to, but he's pretty laid back. So that should be, I don't think Gronk is going to be losing the title as quick as some of us are thinking, to be perfectly honest with you. Sheamus was in action. He took on a cat by the name of Daniel the Dot. No contest, man. Just didn't even make it 30 seconds. Sheamus picking up the W there. Another video package of Jeff Hardy, Path to Redemption. I tell you what, with regards to Jeff Hardy, if he can just put a lid on his demons this go round, I personally would love, as far as a great send-off, I would love to see Jeff Hardy one more time as the world champion. I would love to see him one more time as the world champion. People of all ages still gravitate towards him. Still very charismatic. I no disservice to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy has been tearing it up over these past several years. I mean, if you ask me, in my honest estimation, I would say to you guys that Matt, just from a creative standpoint with a character, just what Matt has been able to do over the years, I got him beating Jeff Hardy by a mile. But there is still something about Jeff Hardy, and not for nothing, but the fact that Fountain of Youth, or call it Father Time, has been very kind to Jeff Hardy. You know, yeah, he's picked up just a little bit of weight, but in a good way. He's basically picked up a little bit more mass. Yeah, and he's still recognizable from 10, 15, 20-something years ago. I want that good feel moment for Jeff Hardy. Wouldn't that, I mean, just close your eyes and just picture just everything that's been happening with Jeff Hardy over the years, the constant problems he's had with the law, and for him to just be clean and sober for almost an entire year. Can you just picture that? Almost an entire year. Nice little pretty bookend story that culminates in him maybe going to Mania and becomes a world heavyweight champion, has successful title reigns for about 6-7 months, drops it to the next person. That would be a nice good send-off for Jeff Hardy, coordinated with however much time was tacked on to the end of his contract because of all the stuff that was going down, injury, all that other stuff. You know, that would be a good way for him to go out. I don't know about you guys. My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping for the best for Jeff. And what a great, cool moment it would be to show that to his family, his kids. You feel where I'm coming from? So that would be a great little comeback story. Miz and Morrison had took on the Lucha House Party, and Lucha House Party defeating Miz and Morrison. Honestly, a match I could give two shits about. I actually watched this. I can tell you exactly what I was doing at this point while this match was playing. I found myself to be disinterested, maybe because, and nothing personal against Miz and Morrison, I just didn't care about the fact that they were taking on the Lucha House Party. And so you tell me that Lucha House Party defeats Miz and Morrison, I say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not busting out the pom-poms going rah-rah. You give two shits nine. I actually was prepping for the show, getting everything set up with the switchboard and all that ready to go here. Money in the Bank qualifying match. Sasha Banks taking on Lacey Evans. Pretty short match. I got to be honest with you guys. And just when you go back and you look at the matches that was on SmackDown for tonight, you got one match that's about 45 seconds. You got another match that's about, if you're lucky, 8, maybe 9 minutes. You got another match that's about, maybe 60 seconds. You got a 5-minute match here. You got a 5-minute match there. You got a 6-minute match there. And if you really add it up, it really felt as though what we essentially got was maybe 30 minutes. When you just add it all up together, maybe 30 minutes, if you're lucky, of in-ring action, and everything else was just filler. Yeah, not really a strong episode. Remember, the lore is about Triple H, 25th anniversary. You're staying at the edge of your seat because Triple H is supposed to be coming out later on in the night. And to tie you over, you're getting these little video highlight segments of some key moments in Triple H's career and everything. Majority of stuff that we've seen many times over the years, even a newer WWE fan, depending on how new they are. I mean, if they came on board this month or in the past 3 months, probably don't know everything. But, for that even casual fan, probably knows a good majority of Triple H's moments according to those highlights. But regardless, Lacey Evans defeating Sasha Banks to advance there in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Not too shabby. Post-match, Tamina comes out, lays out Bayley. So are we going in the direction of Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's title against Tamina? I ain't got no problem seeing that. I love me some Tamina anyway. I think Tamina's pretty damn cute, by the way. Video package showing the history between Bray and Braun. They did that relatively well. Also, we got a video package, Days of Our Lives, or the days of Mandy, Dolph, Otis, and Sonya. Just recapping on that. Nobody had showed up from that party. Nobody had showed up on tonight's SmackDown, offering some context on what's been going down the past couple of weeks. However, next week for SmackDown, Mandy will be taking on Carmella, and Dolph Ziggler will be taking on Otis in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Both of those matches are going to be Money in the Bank qualifying matches. By the way, speaking of Carmella, she was in action. Carmella was in action as she teamed up with Dana Brooke to take on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. This is another match that went barely, nowhere near about 10 minutes. It kind of felt like the match was pretty short. I remember it seemed as though the match went on for about maybe 3 minutes, commercial break. You come back, you go, oh, okay, so they're probably going to go another 10 minutes here, and we're probably going to have, if we're lucky, about a 12, 13, 14-minute match. No, after about 3 minutes back from a commercial break, match is over. Triple H appreciation. This is why we're here, right? This is the main gist of it, especially for those of you that didn't watch SmackDown tonight. This was actually, I got to tell you, this was worth watching. If you had the stomach SmackDown for tonight, you were rewarded. It was entertaining as hell. I laughed. I had a good time. It was nice going down memory lane with some bloopers and some stuff that they were showing. I enjoyed it. So Triple H is out. And by the way, I couldn't help but be amazed that Triple H had shaved his head. I don't know how many of you guys had saw the interview he had gave Corey Graves for the After the Bell podcast, but Triple H had a full set of hair. It was almost as if he hadn't grown his hair in about month and a half, maybe almost 2 months, and he had a full set of hair. But we see him tonight. He actually was bald. I still like the bald headed look, but part of me kind of misses the hair. I gotta say, part of me misses the hair sometimes. But he's out. Trying to think, was he wearing a suit? I think he was wearing a suit, but I think he was going for the casual look. I think he was in all black, and he just had a nice little casual look going on. And he has the bottle of water in his hand, and he's getting ready to freaking take a swig of it. And then next thing you know, this guy, I swore I thought maybe it was just somebody that was either snuck into the performance center, or maybe it was somebody that just they missed their cue. But you just see this person coming right up to Triple H, jacking his water, and then goes off, and Triple H just looks at this guy like he's about to beat the living tar out of him. I couldn't help but laugh my ass off when I saw that moment go down. I'm going, oh, we're gonna have a good time here. We're gonna have a good time here. But then you have like a mental delay when you see the guy grab the water. You go, oh, okay, right, COVID, okay, can't spit, all right, gotcha. So Triple H gets in the ring afterwards, talks about how he can't believe it's been 25 years. Shawn Michaels helping him celebrate. And like I said, they showed some really nice, cool, video, little blooper highlights. Some of the stuff y'all remember. There's no reason for us to, rehash everything that they show frame for frame. There were people that had called Triple H trying to take part in the festivities. Stephanie had called in. That was nice little banter there that was going on. What did Shawn call Stephanie? No fun Steph. I think that's what he dubbed her. And so Stephanie is calling Hunter to talk about how she's watching the show and she heard what Shawn said, and she's got a few jokes of her own. But we saw Stephanie make a cameo again via phone. Who else? Road Dogg, Ric Flair. I think as far as phone calls go, I'm not missing anybody. Pretty much everything ends with Vince McMahon making a cameo. As great as it is to see Vince, it always makes me feel quite sad. And I'll tell you why, and it's not long-winded. As happy as I always am to see Vince McMahon from time to time on WWE programming, I get really depressed. I get really sad because, and I'm sure you guys can relate, because you've welcomed, a person like McMahon. You've welcomed him, his company. You've welcomed them into your home, to your family's home for so many years, and to just, wow, look at how old he is. You're just reminded of mortality, especially your own mortality. And without a doubt, it's contrary to all the controversies Vince McMahon has been attached to over the years. A lot of stuff that's resurfaced this month in April. April hasn't really been exactly a kind month to McMahon. We kind of highlighted some of those things, especially on this week's shows. But, still the contributions that he's made to the business. I can promise you it's definitely going to be a sad day when he does pass. It is. I mean, we're going to remember the controversies, no doubt about that. But overall, a lot of us, I know, if I were a betting man, we're going to be a bit depressed, and yeah, every time I see him, though, it's just, man, he's getting grayer and grayer. He's getting smaller and smaller. But no matter how old he is, he still has that energy. He still has that energy that we've come to know and love. Yeah, he is. He's might have slowed down just a little tiny bit, but he still has that energy like of 30 or however old he was when he officially took the business over from his dad. He still has that energy to him. It was nice seeing him trying to be sentimental to Hunter, but also taking jokes at him and everything, taking little jabs and shit, pretty much shutting down the whole arena, having one of their grip guys turn all the freaking lights out on H while he's in the middle of the ring. I mean, you couldn't think of a better way for it to go off, and for that segment to basically be DX inspired, the way that they went about celebrating Triple H's 25 years. You couldn't have done that any better. You couldn't have written that any better. I think that whole Triple H celebration slash appreciation in itself was definitely worth stomaching the 30 minutes of in-ring action total that we had got for the night, just to see how all of that was going to be playing out. Now, I like how we had people on social media, and it was popular in forums as well, that were hoping Triple H was going to enter the Money in the Bank match somehow, that somehow he was going to be a part of it. And if something like that were to go down, I mean, look, you still got Monday, but I mean, folks, as much as I would like to see something like that, I can't speak for you newer wrestling fans, but I'm at a point where I don't need Triple H to participate at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I don't need Triple H to be at any other future pay-per-view event for that matter. I think WWE has more than enough talent as it is that they can work with, especially under these circumstances right now. We're good. We don't need Triple H in the ring. We need Triple H to continue to do what he does best, which is producing and all of that good stuff, doing his thing down in NXT. That's what we need him to continue to do. We need for him to continue to pay it forward and let it be about these other up and coming stars. We need him more behind the scenes instead of being in front of the camera. I ain't got no problem with Triple H doing his thing on commentating like he did with Michael Cole a couple of weeks ago on Smackdown. That was nice. You know, he can continue to do all those little things. But for me, speaking as a longtime Triple H fan and supporter, I'm good. I mean, there's such a great body of work that he has right now. Like, why? Why? Well, especially during these times, do we really need to see Triple H? No crowd reaction and all that. Do we really need to see him make a triumphant return? Or not even a triumphant return, but a return to the ring? Do we really? We don't. I don't know how this started as far as Triple H, Money in the Bank. I don't know how it started. Who started that rumor? I hope that, I don't believe it has any weight to it. And if it turns out it does have some type of weight to it, I'll be the first one to say, hey, okay, I was wrong. But I'm still going to be saying the same thing that I'm saying right now, which is I don't see the need for it. I don't. Let me tell you something, though. By the way, I love how Vince McMahon was bringing up the whole Katie Vick, how that was god-awful, the Goobity Gobbler. He's bringing up all kinds of fucked up shit and linking Triple H to it, talking about how bad he is and everything. He's being sarcastic as hell to him, but I loved it. I freaking loved it. So, for me, I was kind of teasing this since last week. I was talking about how I was going to offer a list of some of my favorite Triple H moments, because me and my friends, we grew up on Triple H. Some of us to this very day, we're still hardcore Triple H fans. I can't believe this. We're doing a joint on Triple H, and I'm wearing what I'm wearing. And what I should have been wearing was my Triple H shirt that I bought from WWE Shop that I showed you guys. I actually wore it too, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago. I should have wore that. I've only worn it once so far. That would have been a nice way to represent, but it's all good. But no, some of my favorite Triple H moments is a combination of matches and segments. And this is just in no particular order, but I did just, the way I did it, I pretty much just thought about it, put it on my tablet, and just as it came to me. So just out of order here. Of course, for me, everything begins with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley 1995 vignettes. At this time, you've got the freaking commercials that's running around. I believe it was for Old Spice, where you got this Englishman that's basically going, anything else is uncivilized. And you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. And when you see the vignettes for Hunter Hearst Helmsley, that's exactly what you're thinking about. Again, from 1995. And For me, I remember those vignettes as a kid. I remember going, "Who's this arrogant, cocky motherfucker? Like, who's this smug dude? I want to see him get the tar kicked out of him." And I usually was one of those type of cats as a kid. I usually gravitated towards the bad guys. So when I was seeing these vignettes for Hunter, even though I wanted to see him get his ass handed to him, I also kind of, there's something about his look that I enjoyed that kind of made me go, okay, well, I hear you talking, but let me see you in the ring. And then when I finally did get to see him in the ring, I'm going, this guy's actually pretty damn good. Okay, I'm sold on this guy. But for me, everything begins with the Hunter Hearst Helmsley 1995 vignettes. That's where I gotta go. I sadly don't remember anything, WCW. For me, WCW really kicked in to high gear for me really during the Monday Night War and everything. Monday Night Wars. Next up on the list, one of my personal favorite moments, Triple H. It doesn't get talked about enough. And I'm sure somewhere this will put a smile on this other wrestler's face who I'm about to name. Maybe he's even talked about it on social media, or maybe he will before the weekend is out. Triple H versus Shelton Benjamin, March 2004. You want to talk about a nice trip down memory lane? This is one right here. So let's set this up properly. You had the 2004 draft. Shelton Benjamin got drafted over to Monday Night Raw as part of that draft. And in his Raw debut, basically, he gets an upset win over Triple H. Now, in today's times, with today's modern wrestling fans, they may look at that and they may have seen some of the most recent work of Shelton Benjamin, and they may throw their hands up like Obama and say, I just don't see it. Or you may pull a Jerry Seinfeld. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand this. Why? But when you rewind it back to 2004, especially when Shelton Benjamin had came in with Charlie Haas, and back when the pro wrestling magazines were real freaking popular, and you're trying to find out who's who, get the skinny and everything, get the background. Man, once a lot of us have found out that Shelton Benjamin, at one point when he was in OVW and he was teaming up with Brock Lesnar, they were a tag team and everything, and then you hear about Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, and you hear about the amateur wrestling background and everything, and a lot of people just praise after praise after praise of Shelton Benjamin. And when we saw Shelton Benjamin, me and my friends that is, we're going, man, this guy's money. Yeah, it's hard to believe now in 2020, but when you rewind it back, even like a little bit right before that draft, we're looking at Shelton Benjamin, we're going, this guy's money. This guy's going to be a future world heavyweight champion without a shadow of fucking doubt. So for things to kick off on a good note for Shelton, and I really don't think it gets spotlighted enough. This wasn't a case where Shelton Benjamin defeats Triple H and one-time deal. Shelton Benjamin defeated Triple H 3 times over the course of 3 consecutive weeks. First go round, he defeats him by pinfall. Second go round, he defeats him by countout. Third go round, he defeats him by disqualification. So, if there was ever a talent on the roster that, okay, we need to give this guy a huge rub off, see a nice domino effect happen, let's get him off firing on all cylinders, Shelton Benjamin was that man. He was made that guy. And then he perfectly made the transition into feuding with the other guys in Evolution. He feuded with Ric Flair. He ultimately feuded with Randy Orton for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that was at the Bad Blood pay-per-view, but don't quote me on that. So, he was getting, just the fact that he was being incorporated with, Triple H, and then also being factored into Evolution and everything. Shelton was off, just firing on all fucking cylinders. Now, some of you guys may say, well, Liv, Shelton had it like that and everything was banging and future world heavyweight champion. Where exactly did things go wrong? Because here we are in 2020 and yeah, I don't know nothing about him being a world champion in the WWE. You know, what happened? Did the guy get injured or whatever? I think many would agree that where things started to get downhill for Shelton Benjamin's stock is when they introduced his mama. When they introduced Mama Benjamin. You want a hearty laugh but cringe at the same time? Go on YouTube or Daily Motion, since 9 times out of 10, that's where you can find this stuff. And yeah, it was a disservice to everything but that's one of my fonder moments because everybody involved, from the people that were really rooting Shelton Benjamin on in the back to the talents that I just named, ultimately the one guy being Triple H and doing his part in putting over this guy. It doesn't really get talked about enough how you had so many people that were really trying to help this young man succeed on the roster and everything. But for me, one of my all-time favorite highlight moments from Triple H's career, just because of the circumstances and how they were trying to position Shelton Benjamin. Next up, Triple H taking on Cactus Jack, Hell in a Cell, No Way Out, 2000. Cactus Jack loses, he retires. Remember that? It's for the championship. Remember that match? So that for me, that was the match for me that Triple H needed in order to, no pun intended, show everybody that not only can he take his game to that next level, but for me, the match, just the whole series, everything culminating with him and just everything leading up to Cactus Jack returning and everything. Hunter needed that match because that match had essentially solidified him as a main eventer in my book. That officially, he arrived. You know, he's here. He is going to be a long-term, multi-time champion. He's a future Impact player. You know, that match, and I'm sure he would definitely agree. As a matter of fact, I think he did on one of the DVDs, one of the many compilation DVDs that he had put out through WWE over the years. I'm quite sure that he's said nothing but kind things about that respected matchup. But if you're asking me as a fan, I would say when that match went down, you know, you couldn't have Triple H be called the cerebral assassin and all this other shit unless he had that particular match against an opponent like Mick Foley as Cactus Jack. But setting this up even more properly for you guys. So again, leading up to No Way Out 2000, just a little bit of a story, a little bit of context to it. So it was announced that Triple H would defend the title at the Royal Rumble. He was going to defend it against Mankind. But when you went later on, I think into that week or over the course of a couple of weeks, on Smackdown, Mankind had announced, hey, at this time, I'm not ready to face you, but I do know somebody that's willing to step in my place that will give you the fight for your life, because I think, you know, as it stands right now, I'm just not capable. You know, the way I need to come at you, I'm not capable, but I know somebody that is. And that's when Mankind / Mick Foley introduced the Cactus Jack persona. And so Cactus Jack, Triple H, that pretty much was on. And the two had faced off in a street fight. Triple H won that one. The next night on Raw is War, Triple H would end up granting Cactus Jack another shot at the title this go round at the No Way Out pay-per-view, but with the stipulation, hey, if and when I beat you, that's it. You're done. you're freaking retired, no more. And Cactus Jack had agreed to that, so that's what had went down. But as we all know, things had changed, as we would see Mick Foley many times. But Triple H, Cactus Jack, Hell in a Cell, No Way Out 2000, that was another career defining moment. I personally felt one of my favorite moments too, from Triple H's career. Of course, Triple H feud with Kurt Angle. Love that on a lot of levels. This was back when Kurt Angle had hair too, by the way. Nice, good, pretty full set of hair. The weird love triangle that was going down between Stephanie, Kurt, and Triple H. I mean, all of that was just weird on so many freaking levels. But that itself, that feud itself, that was pretty damn good. I felt that, and you want to look at vintage Kurt Angle, as far as most technical and everything, Triple H, Kurt Angle, other than Benoit, and he is on the list, by the way. Other than Benoit, that for me, that period for me, when H was feuding with Angle, I enjoyed that. Just from a technical standpoint, didn't really care too much for the story angle. I thought it was too easy. Even back then when it went down initially, I thought it was too easy. I thought that they could have went in another direction, but of course, Triple H feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ultimately, it was revealed that Triple H was the one that paid Rikishi. I did it. I did it for The Rock. Triple H revealing that it was he that paid Rikishi to run down Steve Austin at Survivor Series. We all know the infamous story. Austin was having some severe, neck problems and everything, and we know the history of that, so we don't need to rehash that and everything. But Stone Cold coming back, having that white hot storyline, trying to find out who the hell did this to him, finding out that it was Triple H. Two of those guys ultimately feuding. Triple H revealing that the reason why he did it was because he was trying to keep Austin away from the WWF Championship, and also he wanted to end his freaking career, forced the surgery and everything. They had a match at the Survivor Series pay-per-view event. That was in 2000. That ended with Triple H, if I remember it right, trying to trick Austin into coming into a parking lot again to try to run his ass over. Only Austin gets the upper hand, lifts the car that Triple H is in with a forklift, and that shit. Back then, when you look at how WWE programming was, you just looked at some of the shit that was going on. It kind of seemed like Looney Tunes, classic Looney Tunes from back in the day, because you see the shit that Austin had did, for example, the Hunter, and you're going, oh man, Hunter should be dead. And I like how I still remember hearing Triple H, no, Austin, no, you son of a bitch, no, and he's screaming and shit, and the car just wham, and you're thinking, well, that's the last that we've seen of Triple H. Rest in peace. We knew him, but oh so well. The Hunter didn't come back for several weeks. They come back, they feud again. Everything culminating in the 3 stages of hell. I'm fond of the many times, although it was only a handful, that Hunter and Steve Austin locked up. I so wish that the Mega Powers would have, not the Mega Powers, but you know the team I'm talking about, when Triple H and Stone Cold had formed a tag team there, and weird shit went down with Triple H's ankle or quad or whatever. But for me, everything that culminated with the 3 stages of hell between Austin, Triple H, loved it, fucking loved it. Another personal moment for me, I only got a couple more of these, so enjoy it for what it's worth. Another one that I had enjoyed, when Triple H was awarded the big gold belt. Now we got to set this up properly for you guys. So before, I can't remember the exact date, but before, I want to say fall 2002, we pretty much only had one champion, and it was Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was the WWE Undisputed Champion. But that changed drastically. So back then, whoever was the Undisputed Champion, they basically were defending the title on both shows. You know, whoever wanted to step up to the plate or whoever was dubbed the number one contender, that's how it was. However, Smackdown ended up securing a deal with Brock Lesnar that would exclusively make him stay on SmackDown. Okay, so Raw, therefore, by default, is without a heavyweight champion. They are without a heavyweight championship since SmackDown is going that route. What are we going to do? So Eric Bischoff, who was the Raw general manager back then, does an unprecedented move, and he unveils the big gold belt. The big gold belt, which, as we all know, used to represent the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. That, for me, is one of my all-time favorite moments, especially in the career of Triple H. One of my all-time favorite moments because you have Eric Bischoff out here in storyline, pulls out this belt, you know, nice and shiny and everything. You're going, oh, wow. All right, Raw's going to have its own freaking champion. That's badass. And so you're already jumping the gun as a fan when this is going on in real time and you're watching this on Raw. You're going, okay, so we're probably going to have a tournament. It's going to go down over the course of a couple of weeks, maybe even culminate at a pay-per-view. And we're going to get a new World Heavyweight Champion. Okay, cool. Nah, man. Eric Bischoff calls for Triple H to come out, and without any type of a tournament, pay-per-view match, whatever, just gives Triple H the championship. You're the champion. Here you go. I mean, that son of a bitch basically went, hey, you got any gum? Yeah, as a matter of fact, here I go. Here, last stick. Here you go. I mean, it literally went down like that. Hey, you got change for $1? It literally went down like that. Now, fun trivia for you guys. And I'm not going to give you the answer, but for you newer fans, and I don't want anybody that's watching the web stream live right now to mention this in the chat. I mean, if you know the answer, you can say, hey, I know the answer, but don't put the answer in the chat. Let the younger, newer fans do their research, especially if they have the WWE Network. But, fun trivia. Who was the person that came out within that same segment when Triple H was awarded the title, not only bitched to Eric Bischoff and Triple H over how they handled such a historic championship belt that had so much history when you followed its roots, but also challenged Triple H to a match for that title later on that same episode of Raw. Again, those of you that know the answer, don't post it in the chat. But if you know it, you can say, hey, I know the answer to that. Let the newer, younger fans, especially those that have the network, let them go out of their way and educate themselves there. But that for me, I just was, what? And then I also liked it from a Triple H standpoint, because here was another defining moment where we were really establishing Triple H as the one you love to hate. And the fact that he was just being awarded this fucking title, you're going, this son of a bitch. Like, because there was a period in time where people were legitimately pissed at Triple H. There was a time, before all the love and admiration for everything that Triple H has been able to do with NXT and what he's able to do behind the scenes and his position in WWE COO and everything, before he got all of this fondness, all of this great praise from the fans, there was a time where Triple H was most hated. I mean, you think that, John Cena, no, it was on a much passionate, deeper level for Triple H. This guy was hated. This guy was despised. There was a time where a lot of people, I sometimes get a kick out of it when people, oh man, the fucking John Cena show. It goes, well, welcome. You know, how you think some of us have felt when we were going through the Hulk Hogan period? You know, there was a period where it was the Hulk Hogan show. You know, and then we went through the freaking after the Hulk Hogan show. Then we went, you know, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, they did all right. You know, I was kind of fond of Diesel's run as a champion, even though it was kind of short-lived and everything. But, man, when it was the Triple H show, Shit, man. Yeah, people that were ready to throw their remotes at the TV left and did throw their remotes at the TV over freaking Triple H. It was bad. It was a period where it was bad. You had people that legitimately, man, fuck this company. And they would just go watch ECW or anything else because all of their favorites, you don't see that funny ass gift for nothing with Triple H and the shovel for nothing. There was a period there where, oh man, they feeding this guy, man, they feeding my boy to Triple H. Oh man, you know, it was one of those type of deals. All right, let's talk about another moment of mine that I had enjoyed. Again, no particular order, just Triple H versus HBK, Shawn Michaels. Come on, man, I can't practically end my list without talking about this. Okay, so you've listened to the show long enough. You know it's one of my all-time favorite moments. So Shawn Michaels makes his return to WWE programming. This time, he joins the NWO. He's with Kevin Nash, all of that. Kevin Nash, Hbk Shawn Michaels, they got big plans as far as expanding the NWO and everything. And they had planned to try to bring Triple H back over to Raw in order to put him in the group. But Mr. McMahon, however, he would end up disbanding the group. And you know, a large part of that, not for nothing, but right when Shawn Michaels came back and, oh man, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, NWO, what the fuck is this? Like, say what? You know, right before things could really start to sizzle, Kevin Nash tore his quad. Shawn Michaels, in a very important story arc here, like, okay, now what? So it was crazy what was going on. It was crazy what was going on during that period in time. But NWO pretty much had got disbanded. But now you fast forward with Eric Bischoff in there as the general manager. You know, he tried to do the whole thing with the NWO. Brings Triple H over to the Raw roster. Remember, this was one of the first times that Triple H had got drafted to Smackdown. And I remember how many of us were so excited when Triple H was over on the Smackdown roster. We're going, oh man, so this means people on the Raw side of things, all right, the Raw roster can finally breathe. We're not going to have to put up with the Triple H show anymore. Yay! Fuck yeah! No more Triple H show. Yeah! It didn't last that long. I don't even think, man, I can't even recall how long Triple H was on the freaking SmackDown side of things. I don't even think Triple H made it. I don't want to put the wrong number out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H didn't even make it 6 months on the SmackDown side of things and he came right back to the Raw joint. I wouldn't be that surprised. But anyway, you know, Triple H comes back and you're okay, so storyline, Eric Bischoff brings Triple H to Raw. Shawn Michaels is on Raw. Okay, so we're going to kind of get a DX reunion here, right? Okay, fucking cool. No, that's not what happens. It's teased all throughout the night. I still remember the episode. It's teased all throughout the night. You know, we think it's about to go down. You know, and see the passionate little promo and then Triple H. And if you're not down with that, you know, we got 2 words for you. You know, let's get ready to this. And Triple H just kicks the living shit out of HBK in the gut, hits him with the pedigree, lays his ass out, turns heel in the freaking process. And then ultimately this set up, and I've talked about this on the show many times over the years, this ultimately sets up one of my all-time favorite feuds, in programs all time. You could do a 101 on this. It's a crash course. It leads to a unsanctioned street fight match at SummerSlam between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. This is officially the match where Shawn Michaels comes from out of retirement to have this match. But what goes down post-match? And Triple H at his finest moment of pure evil. Oh, that's all I gotta say. That for me, I ate all of that up. Good shit right there. Triple H taking on The Undertaker, Mania 27. We don't really need to dive into that, do we? Because I remember when we did the recap WrestleManias for that and the other ones, but if you want me to elaborate a little bit more, go ahead, but I don't really think we need to. I think everybody and their mama has saw that matchup. Triple H versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 28. Triple H versus HBK versus Chris Benoit, WrestleMania 20 for the world title. Come on, man. For me, seeing Chris Benoit, that old haggard, that rabbit Wolverine, he's got that old, he kind of has that. He's got that Steve McQueen, Clint Eastwood, Charlton Heston type of OG vibe to him and everything, just in a wrestling type of world. And here's a guy that's essentially been a journeyman, and that sucks what had went down with him in WCW, how certain people in WCW only looked at him to a certain degree. They felt that he could only achieve but so much, and so the ceiling for him wasn't as high as you think it would be, as there really should be no ceiling. And you look at this guy in WCW, you're kind of going, yeah, this is definitely a future world heavyweight champion, but it's not really whatever, WCW. But for me, I can remember watching that match, going back to WrestleMania 20, watching that pay-per-view with my friends, how we were all huge Benoit fans. All of us, huge Benoit fans. And when we were going to this matchup, these were, at this point, we loved all three of these guys. I especially loved all three of these guys. But man, how do you not, under the circumstances, how do you not go, well, goddamn, if it's not Benoit's time now, when, if ever? If you're not going to pull the trigger now, then when? And so, for me, to see Benoit come out of that, and he didn't just come out of that match. Here was a case right here where we're thinking, okay, well, if Benoit's going to get it, he's probably going to crossface Shawn. He's probably going to make Shawn tap out, or he's probably going to get the pinfall on Shawn. Nah, here was a rare instance. You got to understand too, going that far back, very seldom did you see Triple H tap out to somebody else. Very seldom did you see Triple H receive a pinfall from somebody else. When we say the Triple H show, you think John Cena was something. Nah, the Triple H show was on a much, that's all I gotta say. So, to see Chris Benoit apply the crossface to H, and H taps out, we're going, okay, so Benoit didn't just win. He won definitively. He essentially beat the fucking guy that was the champion. Like, oh, holy shit. And, of course, the cool moment at the end there with Benoit and everything, that, for me, that was one of those, and when you kind of go back, think about it, hindsight 2020 and everything, if there was ever a time where Triple H, at the top of his game, could have pulled a Hulkster move, do some politics, something, brother, I really think I need to be the one. Why do I sound like Macho Man? Well, let me tell you something, brother. I really think I need to go over in this match. Triple H could have freaking done that. But, you know, here was a case right here where we're gonna go with this guy. You know, this is the story that we're gonna tell. We're gonna go with this, and that's what they had went with, and I love that. I love that. For me, one of my favorite moments. It was a selfless moment, if you want to call it that. Honorable mention: Sting versus Triple H. Still wish to this day it was actually Sting that went over in that match. That's the right thing that should have happened. But for the nostalgia aspects, for what the match was worth, and that's the sad thing. Many of us are so lost on the finish of that particular match, we forget the other aspects of that match. The whole WCW, WWE vibe to it. You know, the match itself between Sting and Hunter, which actually was a really good match. We're so focused on the finish, and this guy, we lose track of all of those other obstacles that was going on, and really trying to create a magical moment for those of us, you know, many years to come and everything. But that gets an honorable mention. I got two more for you, and that's pretty much the list. Triple H taking on Chris Jericho for the WWF title. Monday Night Raw, April 4th, 2000. So let's set this up properly for you guys. So Chris Jericho comes out on a microphone, or with a microphone, on the microphone, comes out with a microphone, and he's sarcastically apologizing about the comments that he made about Stephanie McMahon last week, calling her a bottomless, bottom feeding, whatever, trash bag hoe, bargain basement hoe, skank, all this other crap. And he's just reiterating those hurtful words over and over again. And this forces Triple H to come out. At this point, Chris Jericho hauls ass, but he plays the mind games with Triple H, and he goes, well, since you're feeling so knight in shiny armor, since you're feeling as though you want to come to the aid of your princess, why don't you really show her how much she means to you? Why don't you put that WWF championship on the line against me in a match, say here tonight? And you've got Stephanie, she's trying to talk Hunter out of it. Shane McMahon, he's trying to freaking talk Hunter out of it. And Hunter is basically like a freaking bull that's seeing nothing but red. He's just bypassing them, going right to Jericho, climbing up on the turnbuckle. You want me? You want this? You're on. And so they have the match. Of course, it's not really going to be highlighted on WWE programming, given the circumstances. Jericho over on AEW. If they did show it in the first 30 minutes of Smackdown tonight, I wouldn't know about it, but I think that's one of the all-time cool freaking moments there. But again, it's more so about celebrating Triple H. But when I think about, you know, fun Triple H moments for me, that's a fun Triple H moment. So they have the match. Jericho pulls the upset. He freaking wins the WWF title. And the crowd, that's the beautiful thing I remember, the crowd was just, oh my God, mega fucking eruption for Jericho. Now keep in mind, this went down before the Undisputed title came into the picture and everything. Remember that now. Remember that. So Jericho wins the title and he hauls ass. Meanwhile, you got the referee. Here's some fun trivia. Shout out if you remember the referee that called that match. Triple H, extremely pissed off at the referee, feels that the referee fucked up tremendously. And for like, I won't say towards the end of the show, but Triple H spent many segments, and this is what I mean by the Triple H show. There was a period where Triple H would be involved if say Raw, for instance, back when it was a 2-hour show. if they had a total of 12 segments, backstage, wrestling match, whatever you want to call it, Triple H would be involved in about 6 to 7 of those. Bullshit you not. You think Cena was bad? Again, H was on a different level. So H spent many segments tracking down this referee, telling him, you got to reverse this decision. You got to reverse this decision. And remember, this is back when at its height, and it was still getting white hot popular there, when this was under the McMahon Hemsley era. So they pretty much were running all things WWE. So H, using his authority before the authority, pretty much bullies the referee into reversing the decision. Jericho has no choice but to relinquish the title. Furthermore, Triple H in storyline tells the referee and the rest of the fans in attendance, this title win, it never happened. This needs to be removed from the books. So, that's essentially what had went down. However, when you go on Wikipedia and some other stuff, Jericho is still recognized there. But that was one of my favorite moments for a couple of reasons. One, because I loved it for Chris Jericho, because the fact that the fans reacted the way that they did for Jericho, oh my God, I would like to believe, no shit, that it sent a very powerful message to Vince McMahon and everybody else backstage that, okay, so you know what? We just might have something here with Jericho, but not right now, but maybe at a later date. Maybe at a later date, stars align. Yeah, we'll do something with Jericho as a champion for sure. And a couple of years later, who would have thunk it? A couple of years later, Jericho will get that opportunity. Came under some unfortunate circumstances due to a couple of injuries there, but Jericho did represent when it counted the most there. But I also love the fact that, here's a case right here once again where you talk about really great storytelling. And again, Triple H, pretty white hot. It's still the Triple H show. Once again, you could have had politics come into play. Well, you know something, dude? I don't really want to put over this blonde-haired guy that has small arms. And I mean, look at me, brother. Look at these guns. Look at his chest. Look at this babe, your daughter, that's around my waist. It's I like it for those respected reasons. And finally, if you ask me what's one of my all-time favorite moments of Triple H, one of my all-time favorites, I gotta go with this one. Triple H returns January 7th, 2002, New York City, Madison Square Garden. I remember this for so many reasons. So many fucking reasons. Big Triple H fan, even way back then. And I remember when he got the quad injury. I remember when he was out for 8 months. And I remember those first handful of months, just the show went on. It was weird watching the WWE product without Triple H. But then we start getting the little video vignettes about Triple H. I think it was maybe around November. They started maybe doing the vignettes about Triple H coming back, coming back soon or whatever. And you're going, oh shit. And they had U2's, and I was big on that album when it had dropped. U2's All That You Can't Leave Behind. What a phenomenal album. If you're a rock fan, you never picked up a U2 album, you were to pick my brain on, where you should start. I would say Actung Baby, but All That You Can't Leave Behind is a damn good. If you were to pick that up first, that's a pretty damn good album to pick up to start on U2 as well. And I remember they had pushed U2's A Beautiful Day for Triple H's big return. And they were showing him working out. And, of course, he has this fucked up injury. and the doctor was basically saying, with this type of injury, you're done. Like, that's it. You can't be a wrestler anymore. We can't advise it. You're done. And as far as we are concerned, as far as our medical diagnosis goes, we don't think you'd ever be able to walk again. And even if you were able to walk again, we don't think you're going to be able to have a wrestling career again. And Triple H just, he gave himself a little pity party at first, but it didn't last that long. Next thing you know, he put himself up in a hotel not that far from the place where he had got the surgery, where he was trying to do his rehab. Worked with Vince McMahon in the WWE to make sure that, he had WWE programming, in his hotel room and everything. So he knew every single thing that was happening with the product, and rehabbing like a mofo. And you're going, all right, he's coming back. The guy's actually coming back. So you go to that episode of Monday Night Raw, and I'll never forget it, because back then I had a townhome. I had a townhome out in the Maryland area, and I was enjoying that. It was nice and everything. And I think I was done with college at that point for a little bit. And I remember my Monday night rituals when I would get home from work. I'd kick back. I'd usually either talk to a honey or talk to a friend on the phone. Usually I was talking to a honey, Monday nights, talk to a little honey on the phone for a couple of hours. And then I made sure that when my Monday Night Raw was about to come on, I wasn't disturbed. I disconnected my phone but on this particular night, I had my ringer off, but I had my cell phone on, and I knew I was going to be getting some text messages. So sure enough, I get a couple text messages from friends. Dude, you watching Raw tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'm watching it tonight. And usually some of us would get on a little conference call, basically, and we just through speaker, and we would just be, while Raw was on, Raw, Smackdown, and we'd just be talking the whole time, reacting to it and everything. But this night, I didn't really want to talk. I just wanted to enjoy the moment. I wanted to enjoy Triple H returning. So, they're building it up, keep playing the YouTube music. It's a beautiful day, or as I used to change the lyrics a little bit, they say it's a beautiful day, don't let it get away. I used to say it's a beautiful day, sledgehammer in your face. I used to do it like that. And the moment finally came where it was time. Of course they timed this out fucking beautifully. And it's worth going out of your way. It's not doctored in any type of way, not edited in any type of way. What you hear of the fans at MSG was fucking legit. I used to always record Raw on my VHS tapes. And when that joint went, boom, time to play the game, the fucking MSG arena, it just fucking exploded. And you see Triple H come out. He's got the fucking denim jeans on. He's got the denim leather jacket on. He's got the Triple H joint, the shirt that I was pushing from a couple of weeks ago that you guys had saw. He's pushing that. He's got the wet long hair. I'm looking at this guy, big Triple H fan as I was back then. I'm looking at this guy. I'm going, holy shit! My friends call me on the cell phone. It's like, are you seeing this? You see it? Like, I'm watching. It's like, I can't believe this. It's like, this dude's huge. I'm like, yeah, look how he is. Like, he's fucking huge. We've never seen him that big before. Yeah, you could say he was, man, we just wanted to bask in the glory. We just wanted to enjoy the moment. And it was on this night that Triple H received the love, the appreciation. You just don't know how good you had it until it's gone. And even though we all, even myself, the fucking Triple H show strikes once again. I'm gonna watch something else. For one night, everybody, hey, that's that injury he had. Wow, he's back, man. He looks better than ever. Look at him. Oh man, I still remember he gets in the ring. Oh my God, they must have looped his fucking song. I don't know how many goddamn times. This was back when Raw wasn't concerned about time restraints like it is now. I mean, sometimes you'd have Raw, it wouldn't go off until 11:30 at night or whatever. They must have looped his Motorhead song. I don't know how many fucking times. Finally, when the music dies down, the fans are still just fucking cheering and everything. Takes a minute. And he grabs the microphone finally, and he in case you've forgotten, just let me tell you just who in the hell I am. And the fans were eating all of that up. Now, fun trivia. If you remember who interrupted him on that comeback night, and when he took off his denim jacket and he was ready for some action. Another thing we really saw how wide his shoulders were then, and we saw how big his arms were. But it really wouldn't be until we officially saw him in-ring action, and we went, Jesus, what the hell has this guy been eating? I mean, he had the body of a Greek god. I mean, if you were to even try to cast a Thor movie back then, and long time ago, for some of us that used to fantasize about certain movies based off of a comic book, there was a period where a lot of us were going off before Chris Hemsworth. There were a lot of us that were going way back then. Oh man, Triple H for Thor. Triple H for Thor. We always got it right with Dwayne Johnson as Black. Is it Black Adam? The evil Shazam, basically. We always got that right. We were saying that since high school. So like 94, 95, 96. We were always saying that about The Rock. But Triple H, around that period, when he had that whole physique going on, we were going, man, look at that dude, man. That's Thor. They'd be like, that dude, look at him. All time favorite freaking moments of Triple H. And I remember how my phone, I just kept getting text messages. I kept getting calls. Hey, man, did you see Triple H? You see Triple H? Like, yeah, man. Like, you look good, don't you? Like, brother, look good, man. Yeah, he look good. Great fucking moment. So, those are some of my favorite moments of, Triple H. I mean, there's a lot more, obviously, but the ones that stood out to me the most. Everybody's list is probably going to be a little bit different, but those for me are the fond moments that I have of a guy that for 25 years has done a pretty good job for the most part in entertaining us. And it's really hard to believe 25 years. It really is. It's very hard to believe it. When I hear 1995, and I go to now, it's wow. Yeah. Then I think about how old I am. It's like, man, I'm really kind of getting. I think Hunter's kind of old. Like I'm kind of getting old here, but great stuff, man. Great stuff. And to think, how old is Triple H now? What's Triple H? Hey Google, how old is Triple H? What is he now? Like 47? Hey Google, how old is Paul Levesque? She don't know Triple H. Wow, so he's already 50. So he's already 50 years old. God damn. Time really flies. So if it's been 20, so we saw him basically 24 going on 25, and we fast forward to now. That's just crazy. Sometimes some of the stuff that I can remember vividly in my mind, so I get a lot of cobwebs about some stuff when it comes to pro wrestling, but there's other stuff, just some of the stuff that I laid out for you just now, I can remember it as if it were yesterday. And it's so weird. Even though it's been 25 years, some of this stuff, it feels like it's only been, 8, 9, 10 years. Hard to believe that it's been fucking 25 years already, man. But, wow, crazy. Hey, before we get ready to wrap up, just a couple of more little tidbits I want to get into. I'll talk about this a lot more. Hopefully we'll know more information by then. But thoughts, prayers, condolences, strength to the family of Dak Prescott. I don't know how many of you guys had heard about this, but the Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott lost his brother yesterday, as a matter of fact. Died at the age of only 31. No word right now on how he died. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. The week of the NFL draft, and you hear that, crazy. That's just crazy shit that went down there. And also, kind of going back to Triple H one more time, I do have some fun little Triple H little news here. Triple H had recently did an interview with Newsweek, and I thought it was pretty interesting. A question was asked on if he regrets not doing a Money in the Bank match. I want to read to you a comment that he made. He said, I have, and I quote, I have no desire to climb a high ladder and get pushed off of it. There are certain guys that are built for ladders and guys who are, and I'm not one of them. My ladder matches have normally involved me whacking someone with it or getting whacked with it a lot. So climbing and falling off of it is not my forte. When the Money in the Bank ladder matches started to come around, it was built around an additional match at WrestleMania. I've really just had these other storylines going on where I was never sort of involved in the Money in the Bank matches themselves. I've had ladder matches and been involved with a lot of them. It's a never anything that I regret because you've never seen me do a moonsault for a reason. So thought you guys would get a little bit of a kick out of that. Also, I remember hearing about some Triple H compilation that's supposed to be going down. Matter of fact, on the WWE Network, it's called Triple H 25. Features the following matches. Check this out. Not that long either, these matches. Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Buck Zumhofe Wrestling Challenge. April 30th, 1995. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. In Your House, Buried Alive. Triple H versus The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. Excuse me. SummerSlam 1998. Mankind versus Triple H for the WWE Championship. Raw, August 23rd, 1999. Cactus Jack versus Triple H for the WWE Championship. Street Fight, Royal Rumble 2000. Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the WWE Undisputed Championship. WrestleMania 18. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. Raw, December 29th of 2003. Triple H versus John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. WrestleMania 24. Triple H versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as special guest referee. Hell in a Cell, End of an Era, WrestleMania 28. Brock Lesnar versus Triple H, no holds barred career threatening match, WrestleMania 29. Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, WrestleMania 32. Triple H Triple H with Shawn Michaels in his corner versus The Undertaker with Kane in his corner. No DQ, Super Showdown 2018. Not bad, right? I could kind of do without that last one, but that's okay. Also, I had to actually do the research on it. I can't believe that Triple H's WrestleMania record is 9-13. 9-13. Wow. So it's 50-50 essentially. I mean, that's fucking hilarious when I hear that. That's fucking hilarious. Also, let's see. New details for XFL news. Again, new details for XFL. According to Sports Business Daily, they had published a report looking at the days following March 20th when the XFL made a call to cancel the rest of its inaugural season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It notes that things were optimistic at first before signs began to appear that not everything was going well. According to their respected sources, morale was high on the day of the season's cancellation, thanks in part to then CEO and Commissioner Oliver Luck's public statement alongside President Jeffrey Pollock, which said that they look forward to returning in 2021. Employees were still working for the next few days with the idea that another season would happen, including budgetary planning, schedules, and more. However, due to a lack of communication, followed along with subtle changes in management direction, which gave the impression that Vince McMahon was looking to potentially step away from the league. Among those moves were orders issued for the social media accounts of the teams and leagues to change any messaging about future games and instead focus on thank you style messages. So remember, things did not become final with the XFL until earlier this month on April 10th, when a conference call was held in which all employees, about 400 in total, were laid off. Followed that up with the Chapter 11 filing a couple of days later after that. Outlet reports that league insiders had no idea that it was coming even the morning before the conference call. Pollock reportedly met with Vince McMahon April 2nd for a meeting which some believe had to do with planning for 2021. He had already been told about venue agreements as well as the potential to move the Tampa Bay Vipers to Orlando. Teams were being told that week that they would receive templates for club business plans for the 2021 season, and schedules were being developed along with budgets for the next season, which had been submitted to Luck. You guys with me so far? This continues on. Communication began to get inconsistent in amid the planning for WrestleMania 36, with one all-hands meeting scheduled for March 27th being canceled without explanation. Things started to become clear to team presidents on April 8th when a conference call was held and they were told by Senior Vice President of Team Business Operations Derek Thornburg that all deposits for the 2021 tickets would be returned to its customers, whether they asked for it or not. The question of when the league would tell fans about the next season was not answered as well. Again, while XFL business partners were getting the clear idea that the league would not be coming back, the employees were still not in the loop. It's pretty fucked up when you're hearing this. Employees found out on the morning of April 10th that they had bigger paychecks than expected deposited into their accounts, but thought they were getting furloughed or the like, not that the league was shutting down. And as I had told you guys on the show, I think it was Wednesday, former XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck is suing Vince McMahon for wrongful termination. Now, Vince McMahon, in the new update, he did issue a statement through his attorney, Jerry McDivitt, somebody we've come familiar with for a long time now, reported by the Athletic Sports Business reporter, Daniel Kaplan, which reads as follows. Oliver Luck's services as commissioner and CEO of the XFL were terminated by a letter sent to him on April 9th of 2020, which explained the reasons for the termination. As to the lawsuit he filed, his allegations will be disputed and the position of Mr. McMahon will be set forth in our response to his lawsuit. So what have we learned here when we just go over everything that we processed and how these bullet points were laid out per what the Sports Business Daily was able to obtain in their respective research? So assuming this is all accurate, when it's all said and done, basically you had some shady as fuck practices that were going down. How do you not? But you would be surprised. You would be surprised when you hear this level of miscommunication and poor business practices. Look, I cannot relate to what it's like working for the XFL, but the experience that I can bring to you does relate to this, as far as really not being in the loop, something not really being executed properly. Look, let me tell you something. When I was working, you longtime listeners know, when I was working my first job in marketing research, doing it for almost 10 years, we all had got furloughed. We talked about it on this past weekend's Wrestling with the Topics. We had got furloughed. Those of us that were not salaried, we all had got furloughed. And let me tell you something, the way that we all had got that information, we all had basically received a text message. Now, Karen's name may be replaced with Lee, and then my name may be replaced with Billy Bob, and then Kelly Sue, and all that other stupid shit. Same message, just the name changes, but it was the same fucking text message that was letting us know that we were being furloughed. And boy, Tammy will tell you, I was pretty perturbed at that. I said, wait a minute. Do a cat like that hasn't been working for you for not even a year. Maybe only has a handful of months under their belt or whatever. Do that but somebody that's got at least 3 years and up. Somebody that's proven that they are a reliable hand. Nah, man, you need to pick up the phone and you need to freaking call. Tell people what the hell is going on. Fuck that text message bullshit. And, I remember when I was reading this text message, I'm going, as irritated as I was, at that point, I just said, okay, and it ended with some stupid shit. If there's a way that, we can bring you guys back, we'll definitely reach out. At this point, I just said, nah, you know what? I'm done. You guys can barely bring me in as it is. I've had to pick up a second gig as a result that's given me the hours that I need to balance things out. It's like, you guys can't even bring me in for a week's worth of pay. Like, what the fuck? And so I told my boss in a nice, polite way, in a text message, I said, hey, look, at this point, I put in a lot of years with you guys, and the fact that I'm being, furloughed like this, at this point, I'm good. I'm going to explore other options. You know how much I've wanted a lot more for myself and my family. I'm going to go exploring and see what else is out there. I appreciate all the time, but I'm going in a different direction. Hey, okay, honey, no problem. That was like last Friday. And then I go into this week. It wasn't even a week later. I think it was maybe Tuesday. I get this email from the vice president saying that I'm reactivated because some legislation had passed. Like, wait, what? I just said my goodbyes. Like, what the fuck? And so I had to reach out to my boss again. Like, make no mistake about it. Like, I'm done. I'm good. I don't want to come back. It's like, oh, so you're resigning. It's like, well, I resigned last week because you guys furloughed me. It's like, so if I accepted, hours, employment, like everybody else that was furloughed from elsewhere, like what the hell? So you'd be surprised. So if my company the company that I did work for, if they can poorly reach out to people and not, okay, you know what? We need to call people. If we're going to give them this news, we need to call them, not text message them. I know that's the day and age that we're in right now, but let me tell you something. When Tammy got furloughed, her and her staff from both offices, from both health clinic offices, when they all had got furloughed, the owner of the company who works with them day in and day out had everybody participate in a Zoom conference call and okay, this is what's going on. Anybody got any questions? All that shit. So I know we're in this day and age where we like to do everything by text message and all this other shit, but communication is key, and you want to show that you're not trying to be shady. You're not trying to be unprofessional in any type of way. And I gotta tell you, when I hear what I hear with the XFL and how they were doing some of their employees here, and and I would take this to the bank and I would cash it, because there's actually been a couple of people. I'll see if I can do the quick research and attach some names to it. But I recall seeing a couple of people long before this report came out of individuals that commented, yeah, when I was associated with the XFL, this is what had went down, and blah 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 blah, and it kind of matches up to the lack of communication here. So it's pretty fucked up. Doesn't make McMahon look good. I can't wait to see how he's gonna try to spin this with Oliver Luck. To be continued there. Let's see. Other than that, WWE is going to begin pre-taping next week's show. They're set to begin taping next week's WWE TV tomorrow after a live edition of SmackDown that y'all have watched tonight. All of the shows will be from the Performance Center, and it's part of that new taping schedule. Check this out, because I haven't talked about this yet. Check this out. So SmackDown aired live tonight, Saturday, April 25th. 2 episodes of SmackDown for May 1st and May 8th will be taped. Again, that's going to be going down on Saturday, April 25th. Then on Monday, April 27th, 2 episodes of Raw will be taped, one for that night and another one which will air May the 4th. Wednesday, April 29th, you got 2 episodes of NXT that'll be taped, one for that night and one which will air on May 6th. Monday, May 11th, 1 episode of Raw will be taped for that night, and the May 15th episode of SmackDown will be taped. Tuesday, May 12th, 1 episode of Raw will be taped, which will air on May 18th, and 1 episode of SmackDown will be taped, which will air on May 22nd. Wednesday, May the 13th, 2 episodes of NXT will be taped, one for that night and another which will air May 20th. Monday, May 25th, 2 episodes of Raw will be taped, one for that night and another which will air on June 1st. Tuesday, May 26th, 2 episodes of SmackDown will be taped, one which will air on May 29th and another which will air on June the 5th. Wednesday, May 27th, 2 new episodes of NXT will be taped, one for that night, another which will be taped June 3rd. Monday, June the 8th, 1 episode of Raw will be taped for that night, and 1 episode of SmackDown will be taped, which will air June 12th. Tuesday, June 9th, 1 episode of NXT will be taped, which will air on June 10th. Monday, June 15th, 1 episode of Raw will be taped for that night, and 1 episode of SmackDown will be taped, which will air on June 19th. And it looks like they just keep repeating that. It looks like their last taping is going to be July 1st, where they're going to be taping 2 episodes of NXT. One will be taped for that night, and another one will go on until July 8th. So it looks like they're doing this pretty much up until... Looks like they're doing this up until July 1st, with Tuesday, June 30th, 2 episodes of SmackDown will be taped. One which will air July 3rd and another which will air on July 10th. So it looks like when it's all said and done, the cutoff definitely July the 10th. So, maybe by WWE's estimation, hopefully things will somewhat kind of get back to normal by then. Who knows? Have to wait and see. One last thing I want to talk about. I hate to end it on this note. Velveteen Dream. So earlier today, a video had appeared to be a Velveteen Dream exchanging messages on Snapchat with someone apparently underage. It's surfaced on the Squared Circle Reddit. Dream allegedly sent a photo of his private parts to a girl and asked her to send a photo to him. Now, Dream has since taken to Twitter to respond to this news, saying he has not communicated inappropriately with anyone and that a private photo of his was shared without his knowledge. He said, and I quote, "Be assured I did not communicate inappropriately with anyone. A private photo of mine was shared without my consent or knowledge, and I am working with a third party to look into this matter." You got me. You got me on this one. apparently there's an audio of Velveteen Dream interacting with minors over DM that appeared online. Let's see if we can load this up. Let's see if we can. Can we load this up? Is there any audio here?
What school do you go to? What school do you go to? What school do you go to?
That's all we got? Yo, you gotta have somebody talk a little bit more than that. I mean, you could kind of say it sounds like him, but need a little bit more than that. Come on now. I do believe in innocent until proven guilty. I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of hearing this shit about leaks. A third party. It wasn't mine. It's oh my god. Where do I even begin with this? If I were to even go all balls out on this one, we'd go past 2 hours. I don't really want to go past 2 hours tonight. Look. I'm gonna leave it at this. We are in a day and age right now, and I'm not making any excuses. I'm speaking the truth here. I'm speaking nothing but the gospel. We're in a day and age right now where our security infrastructure, just technology-wise, just think internet and all that. These are some troubling times that we're in right now. You've seen the news. You've got kids that's trying to log on to their school's website so they can do their online classes. Teacher can teach them and everything. Somebody comes in that somehow managed to get a hold of the Zoop link, and they're saying inappropriate shit. I just watched the news the other day where there was an individual that was showing a graphic video or graphic videos of a minor engaging in sex, child pornography. And this was a school council meeting where, normally they meet face to face, but given the circumstances, they had to do the shit via, a conference call or whatever. When you're doing this shit with VPN clients, and not to get all hardcore, tech talk on you guys, you really got to make sure that your shit is protected and everything. Day and age where you got all this going on. We're also in the day and age where, your iCloud, it can be hacked. Look, I stay being a victim. Luckily, I have a pretty strong encryption, but I stay being a victim of having my Yahoo be hacked. They fail because my encryption is so strong, but I get a notification. It hasn't happened in a couple of weeks, but there was a time where twice a day for a couple of weeks, somebody in Vietnam was trying to hack into my Yahoo. And I would get an email, hey, here's your password. So you can I didn't request no. I look in the back end, check out what third party apps I've authorized and everything. Oh, that matches up. Yeah, I use that. Yeah, I use that. Yeah, I use that. What the fuck? Disable the shit. No problem. But kept getting hacked. What the fuck's going on? So I believe in that whole, we can't be hacked, all this other shit. But I tell you what, this is a story I would say, like I said a couple of minutes ago, innocent until proven guilty, yet at the same time, IP addresses can't be tracked. Cell phone tower pings can be tracked. If Velveteen Dream did do something, and depending on this kid and their parents, how far they want to take this, ooh, daddy. And it turns out everything is legit. Velveteen Dream is actually in the wrong. But this is kind of one of those stories where to be continued. So I'm going to try to encourage everybody. I know as a society, we're reactionary and we want to just jump on something and we want to Not just yet. Let shit play out the way it's going to play out first. Let more evidence, if any, come to light. And then go from there. Go from there. We've seen, I think, I'll end it on this note. We saw what happens when we as a society are reactionary. Look at what went down with Enzo. It's pretty fucked up what went down with Enzo, and it turns out he was telling the truth. It turns out this individual was, homegirl had problems. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see what more concrete evidence comes to light, if any. And then let's go from there. But this is not the time or the place where we need to be acting like fucking Perry Mason right now. And I can just imagine the amount of podcasts and other people that's going to be dissecting the hell out of that audio. Like, that's all you got is, what school you go to? That's all we got. And we're going to fucking... we got to do a little better than that. All right. So, on that note, shout out to Patreon members, Justin Ripstock, Sean Kenter. Shout out to John Krauser. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Check out bonus audio, video content, great majority of which you can find on our Patreon page. 5 smackaroos a month, man. Check out some bonus audio, bonus video content. Check it out. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Also, shout out to the good folks behind the website, ChairShotTees.com. You want some real cool wrestling memorabilia t-shirts, Terry Funk, Axe and Smash, Demolition, Sabu, Chic, all kinds of cool shit. Check out ChairShotTees.com. Again, ChairShotTees.com. We did good. I said I did not want this to be a 2-hour plus show. I got my wish. For me, anytime I get to do a show and it ain't 2+ hours, that's a short show for me. So I'm relatively happy. Don't think I'll be able to spend some quality time with the missus because we got the painters coming back in the morning. Oh, real quick, before I forget, I know I said earlier in the show I was going to give you guys an update on Maggie the dog. She's okay. She's okay. We got her some medicine. Turns out it was a UI, urinary infection. So she's on her meds. We got to take her back to the vet in a couple of days. And hopefully, knock on wood, everything will be all right. She seems to be reacting to the music. She seems to be reacting to the medication pretty good. But when they went in her privates to, check her out, get urine sample and everything, that basically hurt her pretty bad because she's pretty much been rubbing her coochie. We can tell she's been pretty uncomfortable. She's got to get that same area checked out again in a couple of days. So, is all I gotta say. But we got a Wrestling with the Topics that's going to be dropping this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. That should be good. We also got some more Patreon content that's going to be coming your way. Matter of fact, just released the season 5 finale review of Better Call Saul. Me and Tammy sat down, reviewed the entire season. That's on Patreon. You can check that out. That'll tie you guys over. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. And you can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR Show. For those of you I don't see for this weekend's Wrestling with the Topics, I'll catch you guys this coming Monday after Raw goes off the air. Until next go around, please be safe. Please be kind to one another. And please, if you can help it, stay the fuck at home. Much love, guys. See you later.